And we are again meeting within our meeting is Crypto Trading Academy. I want to ask you with a rather unusual question. How much is a house? How much would you like or would you be willing to spend for a house or an apartment? Well, of course, it depends on which area you are in. I mean, because it could be from, I don't know, from 100,000 in some areas to a few millions in the other areas. But on an average, for 500,000, you probably I would imagine you'd be able to buy a nice house in a nice area. Because like they say, location, location, location. This is what determines the price of any real estate. And now, just now, real estate got a new location in the digital world. Let me show you something. This is the house which was sold for NFT, non-fungible token, the non-fungible token house. This is the latest craze, and I'm going to tell you all about it today. And just to imagine how popular and how hyped it is, this is on Google Trends. This is the most common request. So again, Dr. Leon Rebelsky, Trading Academy, Crypto Trading School. We're going today to talk about latest markets, what is happening in the world of crypto, in the crypto world. I will talk about NFT, these non-fungible tokens, and I will show you how to make them yourself if you decide to. And very, very important part of our academy is to talk about crypto types of market orders. That's what you really need to know in order to trade properly and trade successfully in the markets. I will always start with this slide. Don't miss the train. Opportunity like this does not happen twice in a lifetime. So think about it. Be a happy member of 21 million club. Have your own Bitcoin, and Qubit Life will help you with that, will help you to achieve this goal, or maybe a few Bitcoins, or maybe 1,000 Bitcoins. I mean, I don't know, it depends on how well you're going to progress. Okay, so markets this week, again, we're going to talk about 4 of my favorite assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and Litecoin. Nothing different, I mean, nothing changes. Okay, we are basically at the end, I hope, of, not hope, I mean, it doesn't matter because sooner or later it's going to happen. We are at the end of the correction and again, I mean, you want to trade on daily time frame, you want to trade on 4-hour time frame, doesn't matter, the robots will do it for you, or you'll get the signals, or you can do it yourself. And for that, we're going to set special sessions here in Qubit Life for those who want to trade themselves and who want to understand why robots make this particular decision. Ethereum does not differ much. This is daily and 4-hour. I mean, as I said last time, it's getting boring. But, well, believe it or not, being boring in the markets is actually not too bad, because being boring means that everything goes the way you expect, and you're making money. If it goes the way you expect, you're making money. Even Ripple, well, Litecoin is the same. Even Ripple actually is setting into this pattern, the pattern which is defined by the major crypto asset, Bitcoin. And so after a period of rise, now we're settling into correction. So we'll talk about Ripple. We always talk about it because it's like I said, it's a test case for the whole industry. What I want to say now is very important. Many people say that when we have a correction like this, it's probably time to get out of the market. I mean, it almost from March 13 to March 23, in 10 days, 14% drop in the price of Bitcoin. We're talking about Bitcoin here. 14% drop. What does it mean? Is it a signal to leave the market, or is it, what is it? For most people who are deeply into this field, who understand it well, this is not the signal to leave the market, this is a signal to buy more. And actually, this is what most people do. These are the discussions on Twitter, on major resources. I mean, this is time to get into this. You buy the dip. This is one of the possibilities. This is one of the trading strategies. So this is what as I said, what our robots are doing. And just to remind you, I mean, I know that you've heard about it a lot already, but just to remind you, we have the robots, and these robots are, there are two different kinds, three different kinds. I mean, two simple ones are flat robot and trend robot. They are doing a good job with, depending on the strategy and the asset that you choose, they can bring up to 7 to 8% per month on your investment. And actually, they when you are a member of, you have the license from Qubit Life, they are free to use. And then we have a smart robot, the smart robot, which is a full-fledged strategy, and I highly recommend. I mean, the return on this one sometimes goes to 20, maybe even 25%. And this is amazing considering what's happening in the world right now. This is really, really amazing story. So you can get it as a member of Qubit Life. With having an account with Qubit Life, you can get it on site. I told you how to do it last time, and maybe next time again I will remind you. Now, you want to trade yourself. You also saw this slide several times. You want to trade yourself. You need a couple of things. The most important one, you need the source of information. And we are also, Qubit Life also helps you with that, with trading signals that we provide for the members of Qubit Life ecosystem. And these trading signals both on buy side, sell side, and now here is actually one of the most important parts of today's meeting is in order to use the signals, you need to understand what kind of order types there are in the market. Buy limit, sell limit, buy stop, sell stop, we'll talk about it in a second. There are different kinds of signals. Some are in the form, I mean, and I like this more. I like this most personally. Some are very simple. They say, buy such and such asset or sell such and such asset and do it right now. These are basically, they're based on the change of trend, because the trend could go for a few days or a few hours or a few time frame periods. And it doesn't really matter whether you get, if the trend is for a few days, it doesn't really matter whether you get into the market in the morning or in the afternoon. It doesn't really matter. So these kind of orders are very simple. You get, buy such and such. But then there are signals that say if the market happens to be in this area, then you do this and that. These are called in order to use it, you need to understand what are the limit orders or the pending orders. So as I said, market orders is a very simple thing. You give when you are on the platform. Now we're not talking about signals, we're talking about your trading. You are on the platform and you want to buy at this particular price, at this particular moment, you give the market order. And then you purchase, you get your asset, if it's buy order at the lowest current ask quote, or at the highest one if you're selling. Limit order or pending order is slightly different. You tell the system which level you want to get into the market, which predetermined level you want to get into the market at. And when the market reaches this level, the trade is open. Of course, you've heard this very important word, if or when. No, in this particular case, it's not when, it's if. So if the market reaches this level, order opens. If it doesn't, order does not open. So the signals that we provide are of both sides, both types. And so you need to understand which one to use. But when you open the trade, and the market, of course, is moving all the time, what do? You cannot be at your computer all the time. So then the second very, very important, probably the most important part of trading by signals or simple trading is to be able to use what's called stop loss and take profit. This is also very, very simple. Stop loss, you define the level at which you are comfortable with. Comfortable is not a good word, but you can live with the loss, a particular loss on this particular trade. You set the level at which, if the market goes against you, at which your order closes. It's called stop loss. It's aimed to restrain losses. The other one is the profit, the level at which you feel that this is okay to be with the profit that you made. You also set it on the system, and when the market reaches this level, the order, your trade, closes automatically. And you know, I think I already mentioned this meme. One of the first things that I learned in the market, and that was a long time ago, back in the 90s, we were still trading on stock market and commodities markets. My teacher said a very, very proper thing. He said, it's better to close your order 1 day earlier than 1 minute late. What does it mean? Find the level at which you're comfortable with, the level of profit you are comfortable with, and set the take profit there. Very, very important. So stop loss is probably one of the most important instruments of trading, because it's very, very simple. My personal opinion is, in the market, it's important not to lose money. To make money is also important, but more important is not to lose money. And this is where the stop loss is going to be very, very, very useful. And you know, on an amusing side, this is how you feel during when your trade is open. When the market moves in your direction, you start with optimism, euphoria. You go sometimes into deep despair, and then it all changes. Believe me, it will all change back to the optimism. Okay. Now back to the house that we were talking about. This is the first house that was sold. Excuse me. Excuse me, just 1 second. This was the first house that was sold for, in my opinion, amazing cost of $500,000. This is a house in the digital space, and this house is the first real estate NFT. NFT, as I already said, is a very, very new and very, very popular thing right now, and that is the hottest thing in the market, the hottest thing in the market. So let's talk. And actually, my goal here is to make sure that with the help of Crypto Trading Academy, we'll be able to buy this house both in the digital space and in the real space, wherever you live, whether you live in a a small town or you live in a large bottom city, it doesn't matter. I want you to be able to buy this house. So what is a non-fungible token? Now let's get serious. First of all, it's in the meaning of the word, in the description of the word, non-fungible. Non-fungible, it means it's not interchangeable. Every Bitcoin is the same as the other one. Ethereum that you get from one wallet is exactly the same as Ethereum that you get from the other wallet. Same goes for all other crypto assets, most of all other crypto assets. Non-fungible token is something different. This is a unique, based on blockchain token that defines, this is unique based on blockchain token. Each one is absolutely unique. You can have two exactly same pieces of art, exactly the same. But if you can create two absolutely different non-fungible NFT tokens based on them. They look the same, but they are entirely unique. Each of them is entirely unique due to the blockchain that they are based on. So what does it do? NFT, what does it do? The blockchain transforms anything. I mean, it could be digital work of art, anything basically, from the digital world to the real world. I mean, we'll talk about it in a second, and transforms it into a unique, verifiable asset that you can trade, you can exchange, and gives you the right of ownership. This is very, very important. It uses blockchain, and that's why each one is absolutely unique. And that's why you can tell the difference between the original and the replica. And so basically, it's a blockchain entry. This is not something new. I mean, remember Pokemon cards, coins, even the sneakers, Jordan sneakers. Remember, each one was unique. Each one came with a signature, and did not comes with a signature. And even if you have exactly the same ones, physically, they're still somewhat different. Same is with NFT. So NFT creates scarcity among different assets, and it comes with a certificate of authenticity. And basically, right now, it's used by collectors to buy different digital pieces of art, to do virtual trading, and virtual real estate, as we saw with the house, and sometimes it goes into the real world as well. Now, I just want to give you one good and very useful analogy. When NFT is like a deed or title to a house or title to your car. This deed is not the house itself. It's just a record of ownership to the house. And NFT, this in the same way, by the same token, no pun intended here, by NFT is not a digital asset. It's just an electronic record which represents, which certifies, which proves the ownership, your ownership of this asset. And by saying this, I mean, it doesn't mean that if you have a deed to a house, it doesn't mean that you have the house. You have the deed to the house. Same with NFT. If you have NFT, it doesn't necessarily mean that you own this asset. It's tricky, but we will all get used to it. It's a brave new world. We will all get used to it. So again, when you buy a house, you record this deed in a ledger, and this or index, whatever, and it's kept in the county office. And we trust this office to keep accurate records. And so again, we have, in this particular case, we have someone like sort of centralized certificate of ownership. When you buy an NFT, this transaction is recorded in blockchain, which is decentralized. So no one can take this deed out of the drawer and throw it out or make changes in it. No one can do it. And that's why NFT is unique. And the same way as we trust the county office, we trust blockchain. So this is what NFT is. I mean, it's very, very simple, but at the same time, it's very elaborate. So what do you do if you want to actually produce an NFT yourself? First of all, since I already said NFT is based on blockchain, you need to choose which blockchain you are going to use in order to issue this NFT. Right now, the most popular blockchain is, of course, Ethereum. It's obvious because Ethereum was from the very beginning. It's the part of what we call it's used for smart contracts, and buying an NFT is indeed actually sort of a smart contract. But there are many others, and some of them are here. You can have a look at them. There are many more. Ethereum has most usable and convenient ecosystem for minting NFT, for making NFT. So, as I said, choosing blockchain, Ethereum is important. What is the difference? For example, these are again some of the blockchains that can be used: Cardano, Bitcoin Cash, Polkadot, many different ones. When you leverage a smart contract on Ethereum, you should be prepared to spend anywhere between 40 and 100 per NFT. If you do it on Bitcoin Cash, it's only, 3,000 of US dollar per NFT creation. Why people still use Ethereum NFTs and Ethereum blockchain? Because the system is a lot wider and you have a lot more possibilities if you do use the Ethereum blockchain. What do you need? You need, for example, that's why I'm going to talk mostly about Ethereum, Ethereum minting. So what do you need? First of all, you need an Ethereum wallet, which supports, there are different Ethereum coins, as you know, which supports this particular coin, ERC-721. You need to have some funds, anywhere between 50 and 100 in Ethereum, and you have to have an access to marketplaces that are usable, that are basis for creating your idea, your image file, or anything into an NFT. The main Ethereum marketplace are here. It's OpenSea, Rarible, Mintable, but then there are others. And before you start doing anything, make sure that you really understand how it is done and whether it's coexisting with your idea of NFT that you want to make. Well, some people say that NFT is the future. Some people say that this is purely house of cards that is going to fall apart with the smallest wind. There are a few questions that actually not too many people have answers to. I mean, enthusiasts do, but people who are looking at this from the point of view, general approach to the crypto assets, still have some doubts. So before we start using the NFT full speed, we need to have answers to several questions. So what actually do you buy? What actually do you own when you buy NFT? I'm not going to give you an answers right now. I will talk about it some other time, but these are the questions. I mean, and as you know, sometimes it's more important to ask a question than to get an answer. So what do you own when you buy an NFT? What you don't own when you buy an NFT? What are the copyright rules? What are the legal rules when you are using NFT? Who is the author of this digital asset, whether it's you or the artist, an artist who created this particular particular asset, and what can you do with your NFT, how you can make money with it, what you can do with it, how can you transfer. These are all very important questions, and it differs from marketplace to marketplace. So when you decide to go on, please answer this question. So I think not next time, but in a couple of, in a few weeks, I will devote the full session to detailed explanation. This will be very, very special, to detailed explanation how to go through the process of creating an NFT. Okay, now let's go to our regular stuff, what we're usually doing. And we start, I mean, the regulation, the efforts of different governments to influence the crypto asset market, the crypto asset world is getting stronger every day. One of the biggest economies of the world, Russia, actually on the level of the president of the country, Vladimir Putin, raised the question on how this is going to be regulated. The main idea of that Mr. Putin raised, is how you prevent illegal activities on cross-border transfers with cryptos. There is a financial monitoring department, I think it's called Rosfin Monitoring in Russia, which follows and tracks every, as they would like to think, every cryptocurrency transaction. Belarus follows through, but actually I should say an interesting thing here. Belarus was one of the first countries, first governments that decided to address the issue of regulating the cryptocurrencies. And they were accepted as additional means of payment back in 2017. That was even before the whole song and dance around crypto assets, around Bitcoin started. So probably they will be doing it in a rather thoughtful way. We'll see. On the other part, in the other part of the world, I mean, it's a real world, a real war. We talked about India a couple of times. Well, not a couple of times. We talk about India every time we meet. And right now, the latest development in last week is that Indian government is considering blocking IP addresses of companies that do crypto trading or any kind of crypto business. This is a very drastic, very drastic measure. Of course, it's not going to reach the goal, simply because there are so many ways so many loopholes to go around it. You can do VPN, you can do peer-to-peer trading, you can use cash. I mean, you can do through, there are many different ways of doing it. But still, so I'm not sure that Indian government is going to be successful in that. But still, this underlines the attitude of major governments toward the crypto world, crypto assets. I think this is what we see here in India is actually the first war act toward the cryptocurrency market. In that sense, a warning from the Bridgewater Associates, Ray Dalio warned everybody in the world that government could and would impose prohibition taxes against capital movements into assets such as Bitcoin. And of course, the government usually has very limited but very powerful weapons in their hands. And of course, one of the weapons is the taxes. And the government is different governments, and this is what Ray Dalio very sadly predicts, that governments would impose prohibiting taxes on any activities, any Bitcoin and other crypto asset activities. And not only from the government, not only from the, in terms of taxes, I mean, this assault goes through from different sides. In the UK, the Advertising Standard Authority, I actually don't know whether it's a private association or whether it's an entity associated with the government. But this Advertising Standard Authority banned Bitcoin ad from TV, from newspapers, from billboards, from anywhere else, because they say that the ad irresponsibly promotes investment in the crypto assets. I think the sentence that actually insulted them is that there is no point in keeping your money in the bank. And that is, as we know, it is true. It is true. But the banking industry and the company and the government is not going to stay aside and watch their influence diminish. On a sort of a good way, in Nigeria, central bank denied that they prohibit cryptocurrency altogether. They just want to regulate it, as they say, and on the level of companies, on the level of businesses, not on the level of end users. So peer-to-peer is not going to, peer-to-peer trading is not going to stop. This is the idea right now. And again, as I said, we will live and see. Even while this is all happening, while this assault is happening, many people in the world, throughout the world, in many different regions of the world, still consider Bitcoin as a very safe and very good asset to to weather the storm. Right now, like as of yesterday, I think, a day before yesterday, Bitcoin hit 100,000, even though we know it's about 52 or 54,000 right now and on the major markets. But in Turkey, you will have to spend in Turkish lira. You will have to spend something like close to 100,000 to buy Bitcoin. And this is the most popular entry in all search engines in everywhere. So, and that is all because the Turkish lira is falling. And that is actually because President Erdogan fired the country's central bank governor. I mean, I'm not going to get into this. This is beyond my knowledge and beyond my interest, as a matter of fact. But I'm going to say that in times of turmoils like that, people get to crypto, to Bitcoin and other things. And of course, it's going to drive the price up. And again, and again, we all often talk about Bitcoin as compare Bitcoin to gold, to fiat currencies. Now the comparison comes from very high level. It's a Federal Reserve chairman. I mean, honestly, this is very high level in the world of finances. And he compared Bitcoin not to US dollar, and of course it shouldn't because he is from Federal Reserve, but he said that it's more substitute for gold. I would like to voice my personal opinion. This is not, this is my personal and also somebody else's opinion. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, good cryptocurrencies, well, not good, good is a bad word. The useful cryptocurrencies are more like copper or platinum or maybe some other metals. We talk about copper and platinum because they also traded on the different exchanges. So they are more like copper or platinum and not like gold, simply because gold is simply, does not have much use except maybe for jewelry business. But copper and platinum are the very important for the industrial processes. So the same way cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they are not just store of value. They are not just trading instruments like gold. They are useful assets, useful tools for different aspects of financial transfers, for like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies like Cardano in that case, if we're talking, or Monero, or for smart contracts. So this is, if we want to compare Bitcoin to some real world assets, that should be more like more platinum and copper rather than gold. Okay, now to our weekly review of what is happening in the world of business. Now Tesla, you can buy Tesla car at this particular moment. This morning I checked for 1.5 Bitcoin. Well, Tesla King, this is how we call, they don't call Elon Musk CEO anymore, they call him Techno King of Tesla. He announced on Wednesday, yesterday, that you can buy Tesla with Bitcoin. And you can do it on the website, like on a regular, if you're buying shoes or a sweater. Now you can buy with Bitcoin, you can buy the Tesla car as well. This is a tweet of Mr. Musk. And well, actually, I could not refuse this slightly amusing part. Mr. Elon Musk, he's a funny guy. He is a very interesting guy. This is a joke. He says Bitcoin and the Tesla are together for a long time. TBC is a daughter company of Tesla, and he says this is a coincidence that BTC and TBC are anagram. It's funny, but actually every tweet of Mr. Musk pushes Bitcoin up or down. We saw it recently when he said that he's not so sure about it. But by the way, Mr. Scaramucci, Skybridge Associates, recently estimated that company Tesla, now owns $5 billion worth of Bitcoin, that the last purchase of 1.5 billion was not the first one. So when people like this and companies like this into this, we feel that they know something. Now, this is again from major business to to the store in your neighborhood, to your local store. Visa is looking at Bitcoin very, very seriously, and very, very soon is going to introduce a system which will enable the different cryptocurrency be used in 70 million stores. Every store where Visa is accepted will accept Bitcoin as well. This is amazing development, and when it happens, there will be actually no more words about whether Bitcoin major asset or not. And okay, I want to jump to one slide. I'll come back to others. And in that sense, I have to tell you something. You know, I'm a trader, and I trade based on the technical analysis. Technical analysis is a technical indicator. Technical analysis is statistical study of previous behavior of the market, and on basis of that, prognosis of how the market is going to behave in the future. And I always said that in order this statistical analysis, the statistical prognosis to be correct, to be precise, you need to have a lot of data. You can't do this with if the data is little. I mean, an example of this is you can throw a coin 10 times. I mean, regular coin, like nickel, for example. You can throw 10 times, and basically I can imagine that you get 9 times you get tail. I mean, it's unusual and it's not very probable, but you can imagine it. Those of you who were in any casino sometimes saw this like all red, like 20 red, one after another, or 20 black. So you can imagine 9 times out of 10, you would have tails. But it is so difficult to imagine that if you throw this coin 10 million times, that 9 million times you will have tail. So in order for technical analysis to be correct, to be precise, and to be accurate, you need to have a lot of data. To have a lot of data, you need a lot of trading in transactions. Right now, Bitcoin, with its market cap of $1 trillion, is the third by popularity, by trading volume, third largest asset in the world after dollar and euro. So that means this is a very, very big step for Bitcoin, very, very big news for Bitcoin. And that makes it like absolutely acceptable and usable asset. So let's go back to what I skipped. 15% of Americans are going to use their stimulus check to buy cryptocurrency. It's like almost 1 in 10. And that, of course, is very, very telling us. Now, you can now buy subscription to different magazines using Bitcoin, and Time Corporation is now selling some of their assets like non-fungible tokens, like NFT. This is also, I mean, Bitcoin becomes like really part of life. We talked about this guy a lot. He's going to put now 5% of his portfolio, and he suggests all investors to put 5% of their portfolio into the cryptocurrency to protect their assets. And basically, this all tells us that Bitcoin is here, and nothing is going to happen to it unless something happens to this world, which we hope it will not. In Dubai, just like I think it was announced a couple of days ago, now there is a special free zone, crypto center in Dubai, where businesses who are doing crypto business, dealing with crypto assets, will get licenses. And this is a very, very big step from a very, very important country. Now, Ripple. Well, seems, I think, starting to get a little bit better for Ripple. Ripple's attorney interprets the judge's word about Ripple as good ones. Judge said, I will quote it. My understanding about XRP is that not only does it have currency value, but it has utility, and that utility distinguishes it from Bitcoin and Ether. I don't agree that Bitcoin and Ether do not have utility, but this is a very, very good positive step in this battle between Ripple and SEC, because if it is an utility, it shouldn't be regulated. So let's wait and see. And at the same time, in the meantime, Ripple is funding major American university, a law school of a major American university, to reform the crypto regulation, to make the project of crypto regulation. And one of the first conclusions of people in this law school is that SEC is unfair toward the crypto market, and that it brings up a lot more enforcement actions against crypto market than into any other jurisdictions. So, well, we know why the reason for that. I mean, government does not want to lose control. As simple as that. I want to skip this part because this is something to talk about a lot, and we don't have much time on this. But I just want to show you this slide. Best cryptocurrency to invest. This is from the point of view of risk, from and this is the marks that you get, the adoption of that, market performance, investment risks, and so on. So Ethereum is still in the first place, Polkadot, Bitcoin, Binance, Cardano. I mean, these are the 10 cryptocurrencies with best prospect and least risk. And if we're talking about technology, we talked about it last time, we talked about it the time before. Polkadot and Cardano are the main hopes of the crypto world technologies based on crypto and blockchain. So these are, again, Ethereum is also in this lineup. So basically, Ethereum is not going to give up. This was actually when I was talking about investing in Bitcoin. The gambling rule also applies here. This is a Vegas gambling rule. Never invest, never put in more than you can afford to lose. Please remember this, and never use the money that you need to pay your bills next month. So this is very, very important. On an amusing site, this is what Katy Perry Instagrammed. I mean, this is how she goes to concerts now, the lady who kissed a girl. So, now you can play baseball with, you can play crypto baseball. So crypto world is here. The future is here. Now I want to talk about something very, very important. I mean, we have a few minutes left. I want to talk about something very important. One of the major accusations of the major attacks onto Bitcoin and crypto world in general was the environmental and energy arguments. Mr. Keaton Yoshi, don't know him. He's a climate activist, clean tech author and analyst, whatever it means, says Bitcoin has three problems: energy hunger, fossil industry partnership, and classic libertarian loathing of renewables and climate action. Well, turns out it's totally untrue. First of all, I'm going to tell you about the experience of a major Chinese company, one of the big Chinese companies called, okay, I forgot how it's called, we will see it in a second. So most of the Chinese miners and miners in Siberia and Sweden, Iceland, these are the parts of the world where extremely significant, very significant part of Bitcoin comes from. They use the renewable hydropower, which the most important word here is renewable. Hydropower is renewable. Almost 50% of hash rates resides in China, and at some point, you will see it in the next slide, they use 100% renewable sources of energy. I mean, think about it. I mean, these people, miners, make their money by selling Bitcoin. The cost for how much they can sell Bitcoin minus their expenses. And of course, energy expenses are probably the biggest part, the largest part of overall expenses. And of course, they want to use the cheapest electricity rate available. And usually this is most often it's renewable sources like hydropower. In China, they can move, okay, now the name of the company is Bixen. Sometimes they use 100% renewable during summer and over 40% renewable energy during winter. None of the other financial transaction institutions can do this. The company, by the way, that I forgot the name of is Bixen. It's a cryptocurrency firm in China, which a mining company in China. Okay, so this is it for today. I hope it was more or less interesting for you. Qubit Live wishes you very, very good and successful trading. Hope next time we meet in a week, you're going to be few Bitcoins more. You will have few Bitcoins more in your wallet. I really sincerely wish you so. And I'll see you next week. My name is Dr. Leon Rebelsky, and it was a pleasure being with you. Goodbye.